In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing episode 6 of Money Heist Korea Joint Economic Area. Now, I do want to say at the beginning of this review, this isn't the final episode of Money Heist Korea. No, it's not. This series has a total of 12 episodes. Both are broken down into 2 parts. So this is the first part. Part 2 does not have a release date yet on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure it'll happen really, really soon when this show gets talked about. Now, after the events of episode 5, episode 6 starts off where we find that Cholu could have been murdered, and I'll say could have been. Now, Woo Jin devises a plan to use the media as a way to get the police on their side to go against the robbers. Now, while Woo Jin is figuring out her plan and Berlin's doing his thing and everybody's watching, and the professor is out in the public watching the live broadcast in the city center, Woo Jin says, "Let me see everyone at once." She takes out this list, and all of a sudden they go down the list and Cholu's name is on it. And basically, they reveal to the public that the hostage Cholu was missing, and the claims that the robbers actually lied about not killing anyone. Well, and they took a chance for demand for the press and the students' release to do everything in certain ways, and then the ambassador's daughter, the U.S. ambassador's daughter, opens her mouth. It's another one annoying character. And then the mint director opens his mouth. So it's a whole, domino effect of what's happening. It's interesting how things are done. Just as the things went with the police are planned, Berlin reveals that Chol Woo is still alive. And as it turned out, the professor wiretapped the police and knew their plan. And so he sent CCTV footage of Chol Woo, what he was doing, his actions to the press, and Berlin does his part in certain things, turning the public opinion against the police officers and getting an upper hand and showing that the police are the ones that are the problem, not the robbers. It's very interesting, and the only reason they wanted to intend to save the U.S. ambassador's daughter is because of certain political aspects of how things are done. Now, at the beginning of this episode, the professor meets up with someone and says that certain things are like, you can help change Korea forever and the United Front. And basically, from what I understood from this episode, is that the professor was hired to go into this mint and infiltrate it and not rob it, but to print money for the upcoming summit or the election that's happening to unify Korea under one rule. They do this, and the professor gets a team together, and he goes into the mint, but he doesn't want to kill anybody because that's not the plan. You're not supposed to kill anybody because you're supposed to save lives. And they disappear and they come out, and their whole job was done. Basically, the professor's working for the government, but he can't say anything because, Woo Jin's ex-husband is running for presidency, and all the things are happening. I feel like it's a big political aspect and scheme. And the only other person who actually knows the story and what's going on, and I believe, is that the professor told Tokyo every single detail. Another thing we're not being told, and in the original Money Heist, the Spanish version, Berlin and the professor are brothers. So I'm curious to see if they actually put that in here. Like the professor is more the advanced and smart one and lived in South Korea, while the brother Berlin was in North Korea with the mother, and tried to, they couldn't see each other and they separated, but somehow they're half brothers or something like that. Something could change the tide of how things are done, and it's really, really interesting to see how all that would happen. So we know Chol Woo is alive, and they planned the whole thing from the start, and it's just an interesting thing that happens. It's like a cat and mouse game. It's a well done cat and mouse game. Certain things happen, certain things don't happen. It's just interesting how this show has been progressing, following the original, but then changing certain things and not mentioning certain things. And Woo Jin, feels like she is done. She betrayed. She couldn't get her things going, so she leaves for the night. She meets up with the professor. They have a few drinks. They walk. And then in her pocket, she finds a ripped bill from the mint and realizes, oh, what is this? So she has to go and run off. And then while the professor is going back to his cafe, we see that Captain Cha comes to him, and it's just a stare off, and that's the end of the episode. This was a really, really interesting episode because we saw both sides of the police and the robbers trying to negotiate things right in front of a live broadcast that was happening to the public. It was interesting. It was different. All of a sudden, you see the public side with the cops. Yeah, release the students, do this, do that. And all of a sudden, the robbers turn the tide on them and they get the upper hand. So one step in front of the other, the professor is a step ahead of the police and Woo Jin. I'm curious to see how everything plays out now. Remember, there are 2 parts to Money Heist Korea Joint Economic Area. Part 1 is episodes 1 through 6, and part 2 are episodes 7 through 12. So, still a lot of Money Heist Korea to come. It's going to be interesting to see what happens and what they do. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What do you think now that the characters and the robbers have the upper hand on the police? Do you think something's going to change? Do you think they're going to follow the same story and protocol after this, like the original version? And do you like this version better than the original? And who was your favorite character on Money Heist Korea? And who's your least favorite character? And who's the most annoying character? Let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and I'll see you all in the next review video.